Hello guys, in this video we are going to talk about a very special feature of a loop, and that feature is a break statement. A break statement allows you to throw the control out of a loop from inside the body of the enclosing loop. Now let's see, what does this mean? This flowchart shows how a loop works. So here this start symbol represents all the code which will be executed before the loop, and this and here it represents all the code which will be executed after the loop. Okay, and this part here is the condition of the loop. Now as long as this condition is true, the body of the loop will be executed, and after that again the control will go back to this point. And at some point of time when this condition becomes false, then the control goes out of the loop and then it starts executing whatever the next instruction is in the program. See here, when the computer executes a loop, then the control of execution goes out of the loop only by this part. This default arrangement works very nice, but sometimes you find the need of transferring the control out of the loop when you are actually executing the body of the loop. See, right now that thing is not possible. Right now, as soon as the control comes here, it will execute those instructions, whatever it is written there as the body of the loop. And once those instructions are over, the control will immediately go back to this point. That is the default behavior. Okay. And see, again, once again, I'm repeating, the control can go out of the loop only when this condition is false. This default arrangement doesn't allow you to throw the control from inside this body to this point. That is, throw the control out of the loop. However, most of the programming languages recognize this need of breaking the loop, this need of throwing the control out of the loop when you are executing the body of the loop. So for that reason, most of the programming languages at least offers a very specific statement which is called as a break statement. So as a programmer, whenever you feel like you want to break the control, you want to break the execution of the while loop, or you want to throw the control out of the while loop, or you want to terminate the while loop when you are actually executing the body of the loop, that time you can use this break statement. Now what does this break statement do? It takes the control out of the enclosing while loop. So as soon as this break statement is executed, what it will do is it will take the control of execution immediately out of the loop. This is what you saw at the beginning of the video. That is, a break statement allows you to throw the control out of the enclosing loop. That word enclosing automatically says that whenever you are writing, or automatically implies that whenever you are writing a break statement, it must be enclosed inside a loop. It means a break statement, whenever you are writing, you must have to write that break statement inside the body of a loop. See, that thing is not true always. There is only one exceptional case or one exceptional situation where you will be writing break which is not there inside any loop. I'll be talking about that exceptional cases in some other videos, but for the time being, forget about that exceptional case. Okay, so what you need to remember is that whenever you are writing a break statement, you must have to enclose that break statement inside a loop, or in other words, you can write break only inside the body of a loop. Now, let me give you an example with the help of which you can actually relate this concept of breaking a loop. So, for example, I give you a string and I ask you these two questions. Check whether this letter L is there in this given string or not, and check whether this letter K is there in this given string or not. And suppose you have to give your answers in yes or no. So the answers are quite obvious. The letter L is there in the string and the letter K is not there in the string. So let me ask you now another question. So which search was longer in duration? It means which one took you longer to come up with an answer, whether it was the search for the letter L or whether it was the search for the letter K. So if you think for a moment, you will feel at least that the letter K, the search for the letter K was a bit longer than the search for the letter L. So we might be thinking now from where that conclusion came from. I mean, is it an intuition or is it based on some sort of logic? To understand that, let's see or let's understand how we actually do a search, how mentally we search for this character L in the given string, and we came up with the answer yes. Okay, let's see. So what we do is that as soon as we are asked to check if the letter L is there in this given string or not, so what we do is we go to the beginning of the string, that is we take the first character present in the string, and then we do a comparison whether the character that we are looking for is same as the character currently we are iterating at. Now, since these two characters are not same, and since there are some more characters there in the string which are not yet visited, so what we do is we move to the next character. And the next character is again not a match because it is now G, and the character that we're looking for is L. So what we do is we move to the next character. The same thing we do now with this 5 also, because 5 is not the character that we're looking for. So and there are some other characters there in the string after 5. So what we do is we move to the next character available. So in this case it is E. And again, same thing, E is not equal to L, and there are some characters there yet. So we move to the next character, which is W. Again, it is not a match, and there is a next character there in the string, so we move to that next character. So this character is again not equal to the character that we are looking for. So, and there are some other characters there in the string, so we move to the next character present in the string. Now at this point, when we reach this character L, we see that it is a match. That is, this is the same character that we were looking for. So here the interesting thing happens. As soon as we find a match, what we do is we disregard the rest of the characters present in the string. That is, as soon as we find a match, without actually iterating over these rest of the characters present in the string, we come up with an answer yes. At this point, you can think this situation as if you were initially in a loop that was about to iterate over all the characters present in the string, but as soon as you found a match, you break the loop or you terminate the loop like this, and you immediately display the result. Now see, this breaking might not happen if you are searching for a character which is not there in the string. In that case, what will happen? Say, for example, now we are looking for the character K in this given string. So if you follow the same approach, that is, we first go to the beginning of the string, that is, we take the first character present in the string and then we do a comparison. Since it is not a match, then we go to the next character. Again, it is not a match, and there are some characters there after Z, so we go to the next character present in the string. And see here, since this character K is not present in this given string, so what will happen is every time we go to a character, it will say that okay, it is not the character we are looking for, so we have to go to the next character. So everywhere the same thing will happen. That is, we are right now at 5, then since it is not a match, we will be going to E. Then since again it is not a match, then we will be going to W. So that way we will iterate over all the characters present there in the string. Like at some point of time we will reach 7, then D, then S, then P, like that. At some point of time we will reach this last character present in the string. Again, we'll find that this character is also not a match with the character that we're looking for. So after these last characters, since there are no more characters left in the string to check, so what we can conclude now is that the character K is not present in the string. Now see here, and in this search, that is in this search of this letter K, we never had to execute the break statement, right? But still, at some point of time, we had to go out of the loop. And this time, when we are going out of the loop, you can think we are taking the default route. That is, once the main condition of the loop is false, then only we are going out of the loop. So with respect to this flowchart and the example that we just saw, we can relate them in this way. That is, whenever we are searching for the letter L, we want our program to execute this break statement to go out of the loop. And when we are looking for this letter K or any other letter which is not there in the string, we want to take this default route to go out of the loop. That is what we can say that a given character is not present in the string only when we go out of the loop because of the failure of this main condition. But if we go out of the loop because of the execution of this break statement, it means what? The character that we are looking for is present there in the string. Let's now see how we can write the flowchart of the example problem that we just saw. This is the default flowchart of the loop. So if you want to write now the flowchart for this example problem, so what you can do is in the start section, you can write some initialization like this. That is, what is the string where you are actually doing the search, what is the length of the string stored in a variable, and use this I equal to 0. I mean, we want to iterate over all the characters present there in the string, starting with index 0 up to index L. So that is why we are using, actually, you can write this I equal to 0. And then one important piece of information, like what is the character that you are actually searching for in the string. So that is actually, you can assume like, okay, that character, that key character is actually stored in some variable. Say, for example, the name of the variable is your key. So after that, this condition part, like, see, intuitive idea is that whenever you are doing a search, like whenever you are searching for a particular character in the string, it means you have to, by default, iterate over all the characters present in the string. That is, you have to actually go through all the indexes starting from 0 to L minus 1. So the condition that here you can write like, now I is less than N. So as now see here, this true part. Now if this condition is true, you want to execute the body of the loop. Now you can write something like this as the body of the loop. Now see here, what you're doing in the body of the loop. As soon as the control comes inside this body of the loop, we are actually checking a condition, like we are executing a if condition. What is that condition we're checking for? Is whether the current character is same as the character that we are looking for or not. So if the value of I equal to 0, it means we are checking whether s of 0 is same as the character key, I mean L. Similarly, say for example I is equal to 6, that time we'll be checking this condition, like if s of 6, which is this character L, is same as the character which is there in this variable key, which is again L. So in that case, when the value of I is equal to 6, in that case, this will be a true condition. And like if this condition is true, then the body of this if block will be executed. Okay. This part of these two lines of the code will be executed only when this condition is true. Now see, there is no else part of this if block. This if is like sort of independent if, like there is no associated else part with this if. Okay, so if this condition is false, we do not want to do anything. But if this condition is true, we want to display, say for example, found, and at the same time we want to terminate the loop. See, you remember, as soon as we found L, we terminated our search process and we said, okay, that character L is there in the string. The same thing programmatically we want to do in this way. That is, as soon as we find a match, say we display found on the screen, and after that we do not want to continue the loop. That is, after L, we do not want to go to O. We do not want to go to N. That is, we found the match here and now we want to terminate. Okay, so that is why we can write a break here. Okay, and say for example, now this condition is not true, which will be in the case of, like, say when I is equal to 0 or I equal to 1 or I equal to 2, like that. So if this condition is not true, then it will not do anything. So this entire if block will not be executed. However, you see, this I equal to I plus 1 statement, it is outside this if block. As a result, even if this condition is false, this I equal to I plus 1 instruction will be executed. So if it is not a match, it will skip this part, it will execute this I equal to I plus 1 so that we can move to the next character. Once this instruction is over, again the control will go back to this point and the same thing will be repeated. Now see, instead of searching for L, if we search for K, then what will happen is this condition will never become true. You think for a moment. See, suppose we are searching for the character K. In that case, what will happen is this condition, for any value of I, this S of I is equal to key. That condition is never going to be true because, there is no K here in this given string. That means what? For all these characters, this condition is going to be a false condition. As a result, for all these characters, this part will be skipped. It means always whenever you are coming to a character, it will not be a match, then again it will be forwarded to the next character, it will be forwarded to the next character, it will be forwarded to the next character. That way, at some point of time, the value of I will become equal to the length of the string, which is 20 in this case. So at some point of time, the value of I will become 20, and that time this loop will be terminated automatically, because 20 is less than 20, that will be a false condition, and then this loop will be terminated. Now what I want you people to make sure that you should understand now that whenever we are searching for any character which is present there in the string, your program will always execute this break statement to get out of the loop. And whenever you are searching for a character which is not there in the string, then your program should execute this part, or your program should take this part to go out of the loop. Let's write some actual code and see this break statement in operation. So for example, we have this variable s where we store the string. Let's pre-compute the length of the string s and store it in a variable l. So whenever in the program we need to know what is the length of the string, we can make use of this variable l instead of writing len of s. Then also we want to keep track of the current index. So for that reason, let's use this variable I and initialize it with 0. And let's store the character that we want to search in the string in another variable, say key character. Say we want to search the character L and we are storing it a variable, and I'm giving the name of the variable as key character. But again, it's a variable, so you can keep any name that you want. And similarly, all these variable names, okay, they are not fixed things. If you want to call these I as anything, you can call it as anything, no problem. Okay. Now we have done our initial settings. Now we are ready to write the while loop. So we'll be writing while, and this is the condition part, like what condition we want to write here. Now see, it depends on the program that you are writing, right? So for this program, what we want is we want to iterate over all the characters present in this string. It means what? We want to iterate over the indexes from 0 to L minus 1. So we can write, okay, we can safely write I is less than L. This is the condition, right? So as long as this condition is true, what we want to do is we want to execute now this body of the while loop. So here, now see here, If this condition is true, control will come inside this body of the while loop. Now what we want to do inside the body of the while loop? Now this is the question. So what we want to do is we want to check if the current character, what is the current character? Whatever the character it is there in the string s at the index I. Okay, so this character, if the current character is same as the key character, that is the character that we are searching for. Now see, this is an expression. This expression will give you either true or false. We want to make use of this expression to write a if block. That is, if that condition is true, what we want to do. See, from the example you remember, as soon as you see a match, first thing is you output that, okay, it is found, yes, on the screen, plus you want to terminate the loop immediately. That is, once a match is found, we do not want to continue the loop. So okay, first we want to display say yes or found. Say yes, I write. And once displayed, what we want to do is we want to terminate the loop. And programmatically, if you want to do that, you have to write a break statement. Okay, now this is the if part done. That is, if a match is found, we will display yes on the screen, and immediately we will break the loop. That is, immediately we will terminate the loop. And we will continue with, if there are any instructions after the while loop, we'll continue with those instructions. But the loop is over. However, if it is not a match, say for example, I equal to 0, that time s of 0 is a, that time you'll be checking whether a is equal to L or not. So certainly a is not equal to L. So if this condition is false, what we want to do? So we know, right, in an if block, the otherwise part, where we write that otherwise part in else block. Now, if this condition is not true, what we want to do is we simply want to move to the next character. And how programmatically we can do that? Simply by changing this value of I to point to the next element. That is simply by increasing the value of I. So whatever it is the value of I right now, we want to add 1 with that, and that should become the new value of I. See, we have written both the things. That is, if a match is found, what we want to do. If the current character is not a match, then what we want to do. So if we do both these two things based on these conditions result repeatedly for all these characters, then our program is done. Now once that loop is over, now see, this is the, like, whatever we are writing here, this part is now outside the loop. Just to make sure that we are outside the loop, we right now I'm writing here a print statement that says out of the loop. Okay, let's say this is the program, and let's see the output first. Okay, so we are searching for this character L, and as an output it is showing yes and out of the loop. Now see, this out of this loop print statement, this particular print statement is independent from this while loop, right? So no matter what happens inside this while loop, that will not affect this the execution of this instruction. So as a result, in the output you will always see this out of loops in the output, right? And since we were searching for a character which is there in the string, as a result most probably it is giving us an yes. So we can say that, okay, at least for this particular character the output seems to be right. Now let's try with some other characters. Say for example the character K. Now if you execute this program, you can see that it is showing you out of the loop. Only this line is coming in the output, but this program is not saying that the character K is not present in the string. But what we want is, we want our program to actually say us that, okay, if the character is not there, you say it is not there or no. So how to do that actually? So to do that, we need to think like how we can say, or when we can say that the character is not present in the string. See here, one thing you should notice that the control of execution can reach this point, that is this print statement. Say for example, that is the see, when if the computer is executing this line, it means that control has reached this point in some way. Now see, the control can reach this line in two different ways. That is due to the failure of this execution, that is when this condition is false, then also the control can come to this point. Or when this break statement is executed, then also the control can come to this point. right? Now, you see, if the control has reached this point due to the failure of this condition, it means that our program has checked all these characters and no match was found. It means what? If this route is taken, that is, if this path was taken by the program to reach the control here, it means the character is not present in the string. And if this path is taken, then the character is present there in the string. See, if this path is taken, anyhow the program has already printed yes on the screen. Now the question is that how we can decide whether the control has reached this point via this path or via this path. Now that is the question. If we can decide that thing, we are done with the program. So how we can decide that thing? See, just by comparing this value of I with this value of L. See here, if this path is taken, it means what? This condition was false. And what is the first value of I that can make this condition false? That is 20. I mean, in this case 20, but when the value of I becomes equal to L, because since you are starting from 0, obviously initially the value of I was less than L. So if this condition has to be false for the first time, then the first value of I will be equal to the value of L. So here we can check that thing. That is, if the value of I is equal to the value of L, it means what? If it is true, if the value of I is same as the value of L, it means the program has taken this route to go out of the loop. It means the program has checked all the characters present in the string. It means the character that we are looking for is not there in the string. So we can write that, okay, if the value of I is equal to L, it means the character is not present, so we'll be displaying a no. Now let's execute this program and check the output. So we are searching for this character K and it is saying no out of the loop. This output is again right. Now we check some any random character. So for example Z, and let's execute this program. And it is saying that Z is yes. It means Z is there somewhere. Okay, the second character. Let's try with some other value. Say for example 9 on this symbol. Okay, and let's go. And it says it's no. It's not there in the string. So it means the program is working fine and is giving us the output as expected. This program demonstrates you the use of a break statement. That is, whenever you want to break a loop or whenever you want to discontinue a loop, you can use this break statement. Okay. Now, before closing this video, I want to ask you a question. Say, for example, for the time being, you assume that there is no break statement in Python. That is, you do not know anything about break. However, you want the effect of break statement. That is, you want to abruptly terminate a loop from inside the body of the loop. Got my point? Let me repeat it one more time. Say the concept of break is not there. That is, there is no break statement available in Python. However, we want the effect of break statement. That is, if, say for example, in this program, as soon as we find a match, we want to terminate the loop. We want to do that thing without using break. Can you think of a way of breaking the loop but without using a break? If you can, let me know it in the comment section.